Hi Flosstube, this is Becky, the South Texas Stitcher. Welcome. If this is your first time to watch, thank you. If you're a returning watcher, thank you. I don't have a lot of viewers, but for those that I do have, thank you for coming back. I really appreciate it. Today's been a little weird. This is Sunday, July 26, 2020. And we had a hurricane hit South Texas this morning, Hurricane Hannah. I don't live in the direct path of the hurricane, living near San Antonio, but the rain bands, when a hurricane turns like this morning around 5:30, I woke up and it sounded like it was on top of my house. It was like, wow. And but we needed the water, so I'm pleased. Luckily, we didn't have the flooding. I know people in South Texas are getting hit hard. It's a hurricane, and they're having to evacuate in areas and stuff because of low water and high water. Depending on if you're in Texas, and this is going to sound strange, if it's a low water crossing, that means the water has come up high. So it's not called a high water crossing. It's a low water crossing because that means the road goes down low. So the water will go up high. So that's how to work that out. So a low water crossing can be very dangerous because you'll be driving along and all of a sudden this wall of water will come whoosh and take you out, because usually along a depression, what might have been an old creek bed or something, where the road they just made the road because not a lot of traffic or something. In San Antonio and in Bexar County and I think the surrounding areas, if your car gets stuck in a low water crossing and they have to come and rescue you, and it was warned that these things were going to happen, you can be fined. They will rescue you, but then you're going to pay for the rescue and you're going to be fined because it's illegal to go through these when it's raining. That's how bad they can be. I sincerely hope everybody down there is safe. My sister's in Hawaii. Hurricane Douglas is heading towards her. She injured her leg recently, and so she can't move fast. And my mom was laughing at her because she said, what are you going to do if the hurricane hits your island? Because she's on the North Shore, which I don't quite understand how Hawaii works, but she's on the North Shore. And she said, well, they're supposed to go to high ground in the hills behind her house. And my mother asked her, well, how are you going to get up the hill with a bad leg? She goes, I will drive. And I went, if the road's washed out, you're not driving anywhere. But my sister's a little odd, so we'll see. Knowing her, she would try and drive. This has been a weird week. I originally made this floss tube 2 days ago on Friday. But I was in a depressed mood. Don't make floss tubes when you're in a depressed mood, because when I did my watch back, I always watch these before I put them out on Flosstube to make sure I didn't sound completely stupid or meander off into weird directions, and which I can do. We had a funeral Friday, and I was doing it after the funeral, and I thought, and I watched it later. I said, oh no, this is too depressing. This cannot be on Flosstube. I was like, no. It sounds like you buried me and not our friend. But anyway, as I said, this is July 26th. Today is my youngest daughter's 6th wedding anniversary. Hey. So congratulations to Bronwyn and Jonathan. I hope they have many, many more. I know they're trying to celebrate during COVID, but I don't know exactly what they're going to do. I don't know if they know what they're going to do. I know they're big gamers, and I think for his anniversary present, she gave him a new game that he's been wanting. I know when you have someone, like for me, if you give me cross-stitch stuff, I'm happy. My husband, if I had to give him something like that, it wouldn't work because he's not that kind of a gamer. He plays a video game on occasion, but he's not one of those big time gamers. He doesn't do crafts. And his authors that he liked, they kind of, I have to admit, 2 died. So they have a good excuse. 2 died. And the others, are down to like 1 book every 2-3 years now. So he doesn't get to read as much as he used to anymore either, so I don't know what to get him sometimes. But anyway, on to stitching stuff. I have one finished object, not a fully finished object. Probably going to do that later on today. It's a nice day because there is the hurricane and they are evacuating some people to the San Antonio area because we're the biggest city that will have space for them. And we have what do you call it? The infrastructure and everybody who handles it has been trained to deal with the evacuees from a major disaster like a hurricane. And so my husband has been deployed for that on top of the COVID deployment he was already on. So I may not see him until late tonight. It is almost 10 o'clock in the morning here in Texas at the moment. The sun is brightly shining, but I know we've got more rain coming, so it's going to be a hot and humid day. Anyway, for my finished objects, I'm going to show you that first because I was so excited when I finished this. And I love this. And I don't know if you can see the word. Maybe. This is a little Redbird design. This is the July. I have not done May and June. But when I saw this one, I was like, oh, I got to do this because it's a red pickup. We have a red pickup. My husband's is red. Mine is tungsten gray, which means it's a dark gray, look almost black. A lot of you may think, well, shouldn't the flag have been Texas flag? It's a little button flag here. But no. In Texas, when something big happens, anytime people want to be more patriotic than usual, we take an American flag and we stick it between the cab and the bed of the pickup. So when you drive your truck, the flag is streaming out behind you. And during times of disaster and patriotism and stuff like that, you'll see pickups all over the highway and stuff, and they've got these flags. Motorcycles will do the same thing. They'll stick a flag on the back of a motorcycle, and they go down our highways with these flags. I think it's cool. I have yet to figure out how they do it, though, because I was looking into my truck one day, and I was like, okay, I see the space where they're putting the pole. But my thought was, if you put a pole there, it's going to fall sideways. So the flag will fall out. So I don't know how they're anchoring it. I would love to know, because I would like to put a flag on the back of my truck on occasion. My husband probably would go, really? But I might tell you, I'll wash my truck if I can do this. He might let me do it. But as I said, this is a Redbird design, and I am going to finish this. This is about 3 inches square. It's on 30 count pecan shortbread linen. I don't think I have where it's from. No, just pecan shortbread, 30 count. I'm doing the whole year on this color because that's what it called for. That way they'll all match. And then I have a board that I'm going to paint to look like a Texas flag, and then I have the magnets and everything so I can switch out each month on the Texas flag and have it hanging on my wall in my living room. I just haven't finished this one yet, and I need to paint my Texas flag. I actually started on another board to paint the flag, because otherwise I could have had them up already. But found this awesome board, bought the paint, because I don't usually paint things. Bought the board and the paint and everything, and thought, you know what, I'll put a base coat of white, because it did have a little picture on this board and I wanted to cover it. So I painted it white, and as I'm painting and I'm trying to cover the little picture, because it was an Easter picture. It was a ticky-tacky Easter picture too. No wonder it didn't sell at the store. I noticed it starts bubbling, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? So I continued to paint, and I get a little further on, and it's still bubbling. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? The little picture had been a piece of paper glued to the board very firmly. And as I'm putting paint on, it is making the picture wet, and it is starting to come up. And I went, well, if I had known this, I could have just pulled it off. No, I went to pull it off, and it came off in strips, but it left that paper fuzz that you see when you try to separate something sticky, and that paper fuzz is all over the board, and the only way to get it off is to sand it. And while I have a palm sander, I have not been gung-ho enough yet to go out there to the outside and try and figure a way to clamp it down to my table and do all the sanding. It's just not going to happen anytime soon. And as I said, I haven't done May and June. Here's May and June. They'll get done sooner or later. May and now July, I may, if depending on how the others go, I may keep those up more permanently through the year, those two, because I like them so far really, really well. We'll see. I just think they're cute. And one day I'll go around and take pictures of everything, but I have a couple of things that I've already stitched that are a Texas theme, and that way you can see what I have. I have big things. A lot of my things are 16 by 20. I have done Death by Cross Stitch, which was huge. It was 27 by 30 something, I think, framed. And the frame's even bigger, but stitched it was like 27 by 30, so very big. I did have in July also was part of my haul. So since the last time I have seen you, I bought July and stitched it. So that was part of my haul. Redbird Designs also came out with a new little freebie that they, not a freebie, excuse me, a new little design. Trust me, Redbird Designs are not free. In fact, I don't think they have a website page. I have looked and I can't find anything like that. But this is the new one. It's a very small piece. It is only 33 stitches by, it put something right over it, 33 by 36. Very small. You see, it's this little teeny Texas flag with a blue on it. Sorry, upside down. But in the pattern, when you buy the pattern, it comes with the finishing fabric so that you can do the little piece and frame it like that if you want to. Very cute. I don't know, I could always just make it into a little pillow, a very small pillow, and toss it on the bed in my front bedroom because everything in there is in blue and white, and it'll be very cute. But it'd be a small pillow, and I'm afraid it would get lost in the bed up there. All that blue and white after a while is like, whoa, there's nothing else in here but blue and white. I have a couple of spots of red in there just to break it up a little bit. It's Wedgwood blue with blue and white bedding, and people who, when I painted it blue and white, when I started painting it, and I painted the ceiling too, my dad came over when I did it, and he walked in, he goes, oh, you're not going to like this. He gives me too dark. And I said, I want a Wedgwood room. And I just blissfully ignored him and went ahead and painted it Wedgwood blue. And then we put white curtains in there, white crown molding, white shelving, repainted the baseboards so that they're really white. And so when you walk in, it looks like a Wedgwood box, and the inside of a Wedgwood box, basically. And my daughter, who was still living at home at the time after we had done this, well, actually, she was not living at home when we did it. She moved back home like a month later. And she moved in, and she told her grandpa, because he was saying, oh, you're in that blue room, it's going to be so dark for you. And she goes, trust me, when the sun comes up, that room glows, and it's very light. So she couldn't sleep late anymore, and we just laughed because she's like me. She likes to sleep in. I'm a lazy person, yes. Anyway, I do have I have a couple of more pieces of haul, but this is the last physical piece I have at this moment. I caved. I bought land that I love. And I've seen someone just do this little motif right here. It was so cute. And they just framed this little piece. And I looked at it, and it was so funny because it was on the wall at my LNS, and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, that looks so familiar, so cute. Wait, and I'm like, I would have bought that pattern. And so when I was looking at this, I went, there it is. There's that little thing. It's like, I knew I had seen it. I don't traditionally do patterns with houses, so this is going to be a first for me, kind of. We'll see. My mother was with me when I picked this up. My mother's so weird. She looks at this, and she asked me, why is there a boat on the pattern? And I went, what boat? She goes, right here, there's a boat. I said, Mama, that's a flower pot with a little bird on it. And she went, oh, looks like a boat. I was like, I almost feel like I should stitch this part for her so she can have the boat. Yes, my mother's weird. I don't have fabric. I have not pulled threads or anything. But my LNS only had one more copy of this left, and just in case, I went ahead and bought it. It's mine, staying mine. I'm glad. The other two pieces of haul, which actually I picked up, I don't know. If you download a pattern, are you picking it up? I don't know. What do you call that? I have never really thought about it. But anyway, I have downloaded 2 new patterns somewhere on here. Actually, I downloaded 4 patterns. 2 were free though. 2 I bought. I'm going to show you the purchased patterns first. This is from Owl Forest Embroidery. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. That's Southern Land. When you look at when you go to their website, Owl Forest Embroidery, it's out of Russia, so you have to click English translation. Those colors are fantastic. Those are the Russian flosses that they use. They give you American DMC equivalents. But the problem that I'm going to think of is when you look at their floss in comparison to what you know the DMC is, the DMC is not that startling. But Owl Forest says that they're not shipping right now because of the COVID stuff out of Russia. And I would love to be able to get their floss. I know 2 people who are stitching on some of their stuff, and they said they really like their floss. And I don't know, I haven't touched, I held theirs in my hand, but I was like, oh, these are very nice. And they said, yeah, and they told me who it was, and I was like, okay. Owl Forest had a freebie out during the Be Well and Stitch. So I don't know how many people saw that on Facebook. It's part of the Be Well and Stitch group. They actually have several free patterns. Some of them are really cool. Then this is the second one I purchased. This is called Around the Sun. And it is the planets, including Pluto. Pluto is, in my heart, will always be a planet. But that is called Around the Sun. And it's almost like the solar system in Quaker. But it's not quite a Quaker. But I just thought that was fantastic, those colors. And I love the sun. Even if I don't do the other planets, I'm going to do the sun. I need to find some navy blue. I think it's done in navy. The pattern, what do you call it? The legend is in English and in Russian. You can also get the pattern with, instead of saying moon and earth and stuff, you can get it to say those words in Russian. So you get 2 options there. So if you know someone who speaks Russian, they can get it in there. But it gives you the DMC, it gives you their floss and another floss. And a lot of this is, as I said, it's in Russian. I understand the DMC, I understand the numbers, I understood the stitch count, and it tells you that they stitched it on Zweigart Belfast 32 count blue spruce. So, I mean, there is English on these patterns. I think they're both lovely, and I intend on stitching those. Those 2 I purchased. Then this one is a small one. This is called Autumn Cats. This one, everything's in Russian except for the DMC. So let's see if I get, there you go. I thought he was so cute with all those little kitties and the leaves and stuff. So I'll be downloading, or if I have I have downloaded it. I had to go get some inkjet cartridges to print them off. I tried to move it into Pattern Keeper because I'm kind of trying out Pattern Keeper. But for some reason, my Pattern Keeper is not talking to my little tablet here correctly. So we'll see. And then the last one is called Pretty Pumpkins. This one's also all in Russian, except for the DMC and stuff. All those little pumpkins. Very cute. Very cute. And the little birds. Very cute. And this is 120 by 76, so it's not a big pattern. And the cats, sorry, I didn't tell you this. The cats were 121 by 80. So these are small patterns. Excuse me. They put me on some new medicine. And oh my gosh, it just drives me out. I'll wake up and it's like my lips are stuck to my teeth because I'm so dry. The Around the Sun is 197 by 197. So it's a perfect square. And then Southern Land, which was a big pattern, or a big-ish pattern, is... I love it when they don't put the stitch count on the front page. Is 189 by 243. So they're just fantastic. Let me see if I can show you a little bit here. So if you download Southern Lands, that is what the legend will look like, or part of it. The colors are on another page. And it comes in both color pattern and black and white. So I'm good with that. I know I have an aunt, the aunt who actually taught me, when she taught me, she refused to use anything but a color pattern. And she was amazed when I picked up the black and white pattern so quickly. And I was like, it's just a color pattern. I mean, it's just a black and white. Just look at the little X's and the little circles and whatever they are. But it just wiped out her vision. She couldn't look at a black and white pattern. So if it wasn't in color, she couldn't stitch. And I've met one or two other ladies who prefer a color pattern to the black and white. Now, I did not purchase this. I went through my stash the other day. And if you watched my last video, you saw that I had a fully finished object. It was a small, and it was a prairie schooler that had been a card that they had, that the LNSs used to keep at their registers, and it was like an advertisement for the upcoming patterns that they had. And I was like, I'm sure I must have picked up more of those. I found this little thing, and they don't really have names. It just says 2010 Prairie Schooler. Yeah, they don't really have names. So he is going to be... I don't have his stitch count either. Oh, let's see. He looks like he's about 32 by 37, something like that. He's not stitched on black. The black is actually stitched. I was going to stitch it on black, but then I realized I don't think you can see the little greenery here if I do that. I found a little piece of fabric. I'm going to stitch him on. He is so cute. When I finish this, I will get the patriotic one, which is here someplace, but I don't know what happened to him. As I said, I did this the other day, and when I went back through things, I couldn't find my patriotic one. When I finish him, and which will be in a week or two, I will give these two away as a set, because my daughter won't stitch them, and she's the only other stitcher who would want to, probably. I will give these away. So if you want these two, I'll be doing it in a couple of weeks. I want to finish him before I say, yes, we're going to give the two away together. But it's a patriotic one and the Santa Claus one. But as I said, he is so cute. Very simple. I probably can stitch him up, and I'm not a fast stitcher, so I'm going to give myself at least 3 hours to stitch him up, because if I stitch if I stitch for an hour straight, I can't move my hands at the end. So I stitch for like 15 minutes and I have to stop. Stitch for 15 minutes and I have to stop. So he will take longer than, well, other people will just go and have him done. He'll take a little longer for me than most. While I was going through my stash, and I don't know about you, but I have patterns in the back of my mind like, oh yes, I'm going to stitch that. Yes, I bought the pattern. Yes, it's in my box, but I need to drag it out. Oh, I don't want to go get stuff for it. So I've got a bunch of patterns that I have purchased over the years that if I had just got up and went and purchased stuff, I probably would have stitched them by now. But it's going through my stash, and I saw several people do the sister, I would say the sister of this. This is in my stash. I'm going to stitch her. I bought some fabric recently that I'm going to do a floss toss on and see if it'll work. If not, then I'm back to square one. But I've always wanted her. I've always loved her. My daughter has Queen of the Flag. No, I'm sorry, this is Queen of Freedom. What is it? What is the other one? I guess she is Queen of the Flag. The one with the lady in yellow holding the torch, and she's got the flag. This is Queen of Freedom. Yes. And I have told her, I'm going to stitch this one, and then I want her to trade with me. Now, she has not done the other one yet. So if I finish this, but this, trust me, this is not going to be a weekend type of thing. For the next couple of years, when I finish her, I want to switch with my daughter and, then be able to have both of them. I don't know where I'll put them. I'm short of wall space. But hey, I might start doing like those galleries where they get pictures from the floor up. My husband, when I finish something, he goes, and where are you putting this? When I finished a Vickery collection, it was called Just for Fun. It's wildly colorful flowers with butterflies in like a little birdhouse. There's no bird, but just butterflies and little squirrels and colors, and it was a crazy thing. And beautiful colors. And my husband asked me, he goes, where are you putting that? And I said, not in this house. And he went, what? I said, we're out of wall space. And he went, what do you mean we're out of wall space? I said, as soon as I get it to the county fair, depending on what it does, I'm going to give it to our oldest granddaughter who likes butterflies. And he went, ah. I said, I said, yes. Grandchildren are probably going to start beginning some of my cross-stitching because I'm out of wall space. And they're all young enough that they don't have a lot of things on their walls yet. Even though my youngest daughter years ago told me she didn't want any of that stuff, what would she do with it? So I have informed her and her husband I will not be stitching for them. But I'm pretty sure I could stitch for their daughter and son. So we'll see how that goes. Just a moment. I need to go get something to drink. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. You're about to watch me grab my throat and pass out from parchness. I tell you, this new medicine I'm on just sucks the juice out of your body. Anyway, back to what I was saying. What was I saying? I'll be doing I'll be getting rid of those two little prairie schoolers in the near future. One of the other things that I found recently that I intend to do, and I've got a cat here who's thinking that he's being cute. I got this from the designer because I know her. Very well do I know her. I got this a while back. It's called the Bower Dragon. It is $3.95 by $4.04. It's a big one. And I'm going to finally stitch it. It's by Rigel's Needlework. She only has 2 patterns out right now. I believe she still has her Etsy shop going. Otherwise, she's on Facebook if you can't find it. There's a lot of pages to this pattern, but the problem you'll find out when you look at it, like this section here, when they printed out at square, it gave you all the white space too. So it's like, you know, you cut out all the square pages here and here and up here and here. And you just, what I did was I went and told it, you know, print page to here and here and then across, and then came down here and told it start printing out just these. That way I don't have all the blank pages. I didn't want to do that. But this is by Rigel's Needlework. It's called the Bower Dragon. And I'm going to be starting this soon. I do have the floss. I just, and I only recently, when I bought the fabric for the Christmas stockings I was going to do, I had bought a huge piece because I thought I was going to be doing 4 Christmas stockings on it, and then decided not to do it. So I've got this huge piece of 25 count White Laguna, and I'm going to stitch the Bower Dragon on that. At this moment, that is my plan. We will see. I tried it on, I put in like 20 stitches one day on a, what was it? I think it was a 36 count, trying to make it small. And nearly went blind. It was like, no, not going to do that. But as I said, that's the Bower Dragon from Rigel's Needlework. And it is $3.95 by 404. And if you stitch it 1 over 1, well, that's if you're doing 30 count fabric. I'm not going to do 30 count fabric. Anyway, we'll see how big it is when it finishes. Ha ha ha. I don't think she put the measurements in correct. I just truly don't. But we'll see. The other thing I did, and I know a lot of people like these, I went and put together a couple of project bags. And these are this is one of my new project bags. This has got my 38-year-old whip in it. I got all the floss for it. And so I can now maybe consider picking it up again. I went to my LNS and walked around with it in my hand going, matching up colors. It was fun. I was like, I don't know, what color is this, you know? Because as I said, the original colors were J.P. Coates Clark floss. And I don't know when the last time I saw their floss. It was about 2-3 years ago, and it was very few colors. So I have found some DMC that I think will work. Put this little birdie is my zipper pull. It is lined. So I have not yet tried. I have watched the video to where you put the zipper here, and that way you have just fabric up here and then the zippers down here. I watched that. But before I attempt that, I need to watch it one more time. I'm a very competent seamstress, but when I watched it the first time, I was only half watching it, and they did this part when I was like sweeping the floor or something, because I just had the YouTube on my TV, and I went, oh, what did they do? And I was like, and I didn't feel like backing it up and sitting down or rewatching it, so I need to rewatch it. I think I was watching Helen D, I think. And she gave a great tutorial. I just was not paying attention. But yes, I love these colors. And this is 4 fat quarters from Joanne Fabrics makes this. So you don't have to go and spend lots of money on fabric if you're going to make one. But I liked this. Then I made a bigger one for Pandemic. This one. Even my husband went, ooh. I found that fabric years ago. So it is, I don't think it's available anymore. It was at a quilt store here in San Antonio. And I want to say there was a couple complimentary fabrics at the time. But I bought this. I love Singer's. I checked my grandmother's what I thought was an old Singer sewing machine. It's been in my house for years now, several years. She died in 1992. It went to my aunt. She was going to give it to my cousin, and my cousin said, I don't want that. And I went, oh, I will take Grandma's sewing machine. I would have sworn to you it was an old Singer with this kind of gold printing on it. I sewed on it. Oh my gosh, I helped her make the wedding dresses and for my sisters, for the bridesmaids in my sister's wedding. I would have sworn to you it was a singer. I finally opened it up. I rearranged my front 2 bedrooms, so I got all my sewing stuff now into 1 bedroom versus having it scattered all over the place. Got everything in there, and I thought, you know what? I haven't opened this up since it came to the house because I could hear rattling parts in there, and I was concerned. So I opened it up because it comes in. It's in a sewing cabinet. I opened the top up, and it's got the big cord that pulls up, and as it comes up, it pulls the machine up and all that. Pulls it up. It's not a Singer. It's a White's. And I'm like, who was White? So I looked it up. It seems to be connected with Kenmore, which was Sears. And as I said, my grandmother passed away in 92. I don't think anybody has sewed on it. Maybe my aunt did once or twice. I'm not sure. But it would have been a long time ago. What I was hearing rattling was the plug. It's got a special little wrap thing inside there. It had gotten loose. And what I was hearing was the cord hitting the outside of the cabinet. I pulled it down. I thought, I will plug it in. And started looking at the cord. The cord is down to bare wires in spots and loose at the plug. And I went, oh, no, we're not plugging this in. It would not be good to have a fire marshal's house burned down because his wife plugged in an old sewing machine. So I'm hoping I can find this plug. It's a weird plug. I've never seen one like it before. It's not your traditional wire stuck into the little motor coming out. It's a square little box that screws onto the back. Then it's got a cord, and then it's got a different cord head to plug it in. Very strange. I've never seen one like that before. So I Googled it the other day, and I think I found a couple of places that might have one. I need to do that and see if I can get that cord. They say it's about $20, which is not a bad deal if I can make it work. But it says it's for Kenmore's, not White's. But when you Google White, it pulls up Kenmore. I have to research this some more before I buy it. And for this one, I put a little butterfly tabby thing on there. Got those at Joann's. But yes, I love this fabric. My sewing machine does a little bit of embroidery. It's not a big embroidery. It's just a small one. It's a small baby lock. And then the black, my mother tells you, oh, don't throw away your scraps. You may need them. And I'm like, do you realize how many years worth of scraps I have and I haven't touched them? I had to pull a scrap. I think I made this dress in 2009, maybe 11 years ago. So I've had this scrap a long time. It's black PK. I love the feeling of PK. It's got that little bit of a ridge. And it just stitched up so nicely to that. I was very elegant in that black dress. It was one of the a retro pattern, so it came all across on your shoulders like this, and had the heart neck, the drop and everything. And I remember wearing it to a party because it's your little black dress. Of course, in my particular size, they're not exactly that little. That's why I made my own. And I'm standing there, and I'm wearing my dress, and it just laid beautifully across my shoulders and across the chest area and everything. And I'm standing there, and there was so many people there. I didn't really know anybody. I was dealing with my husband's office at the time. And I'm standing there, and this lady walks over. She goes, I love your dress. I said, oh, well, thank you very much. And I didn't know who she was, and I did not say anything else. I just thanked her very much. And she goes, I could never get away with wearing that. And I went, oh, and I looked over and realized, yeah, no, she was very slim. It would have slid right off of her body. But it's one of the few good things about having a robust figure, is my mother likes to say. We have a robust figure in the family sometimes. Excuse me. Anyway. Cat jumped over here and knocked things off. It's a good thing to be a chair there. I have a few patterns I have stitched. I am not going to stitch again. So I'm going to let you have them. Of course, this one I've never stitched. This one I got in a grab bag, and that's just not something I would stitch. Anyway, as I said, these are things I have stitched. I'm not stitching again. They are mostly gently used. I think okay, see the other one. Yeah, because I usually make a working copy and then put the original back in the bag or packaging or whatever it came in, and then that way I can have it if I lose a page or something like that, I can just go make another working copy page of that page that's missing. I don't damage the original. Usually I give these to my daughter who stitches, and she was here a couple of weeks ago, and I asked her, does she want these? And she took about 4 or 5 of them, but all of these other ones she left. So I'm going to offer these. Hang on, I've got some things that are not being offered. mixed up in this. Okay, so I'm going to show you these, and then I'm going to let you know which one I'm going to offer. And all you will have to do is like and be a subscriber and tell me why you want to stitch the pattern that I'm going to offer up right now. But let me show you what I have first. Death by Cross Stitch. It's hanging up on my wall. It is done. This I did for my daughter when her son was born. It's my big toe. For this child, it's a birth sampler. This came out. I used one overdyed color for this, and it came out really well. I don't have a picture of it. Did I keep a picture of it? No. Then I have Twin Peak Primitives. This is Santa's 2019 Trilogy number 2. I did not buy the other parts of the trilogy. This one I bought because the blanket on the reindeer is the nativity. I think that is so pretty. So I have this one done. It's not framed, but it is done. And then y'all recently saw I did Threadbrick Primitives, The Beggar's Fourth. This is the one I was talking about that I did for my granddaughter. Just fun. Those colors are spectacular. I did it on a mallow. I think it was called mallow. I don't remember who the designer was. And it was 32 count linen. These colors on that creamy, it was a very creamy color the fabric. Just popped. Now, I stitch and take my things to the county fair to be judged. Last year, I won Best of Show, Honorable Mention, and a first place. All of which are different ones. This one won the first place. Death by Cross Stitch won Best of Show. And then this one won the Honorable Mention. This rosewood. The only thing I didn't like about this rosewood is I used the Callford colors, and the letter L, even on the pattern, you almost can't see it at all. If I stand close to the finished piece, I can see the L, but otherwise it's very difficult. If you stitch this, I recommend using something different for the letter L. In fact, I don't think that color is actually used very much in here. I thought about doing some of the smalls in here, but I'm not going to. So I'm very comfortable giving this pattern away. And then I have another Vickery collection. This is Celtic Medallion. This is the one, if you listened to, I think it was last week's, this is the one that I spilled the Coca-Cola on. The fabric before I stitched it. And where this dragon's head is, there's a Coca-Cola stain, but it's under his head. And you can't see it. So I was very pleased with that. And then, as I said, this one I got in a grab bag. It was like a $10 grab bag, and it had all kinds of stuff in it in this pattern. And I was like, and there's no buttons. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to do a pin cushion like that. So, no. So that one's actually never been used. And then I have a zippy. This still has some of the floss in it. Little pumpkins. This is my piece that I keep up from October to after Thanksgiving because it doesn't have a Halloween theme. It's just pumpkins. So that one stays up October and through November. And this one, I made this one several years ago. This one won a first place, I think. The little button is on my piece. I'm sorry. It came with the button when I bought it. So there's no button anymore in this one. This is an Alessandra Adelaide Needleworks. So this one I want to say is about 11 by 14. I think I bought the, I did not have this framed. I think I framed it myself. I think I used an 11 by 14 frame for that. So that one is interesting. I did it in, I didn't do the blue and white. You would think I would do blue and white and put it in my front bedroom, but no. I did it on a strange green color with a red flower and a darker green petals. So it was definitely different. The only thing I probably should have done was I should have maybe dyed the button or something, because that butterfly, he's very white on that green and you could definitely see him. This is one that will probably go to my granddaughter someday, so she can have her butterflies. So I'm going to pick one of these and give you an option. And since I definitely know it's a winner, I'm going to offer up Death by Cross Stitch. So if you would like Death by Cross Stitch, send me a message, subscribe and like, and tell me why you want Death by Cross Stitch. A lot of you downloaded Pandemic. Death by Cross Stitch is like 12 stitches smaller on one side, so they're very close in size. Took me 3 years to do, but I have seen some ladies who did it in 6 weeks. I don't think they slept. If you don't like the alphabet, don't ask for it. If you're, a lot of people don't like the alphabet. They redid other things. I have seen some people who did some beautiful things, but there was a big pet peeve with the alphabets. I personally love the alphabets. In fact, they went so fast, and I don't even like stitching alphabets, but they went fast enough. I was like, yes, there was a big section. But anyway, tell me why you want Death by Cross Stitch. And as I said, be a subscriber and like the video. Don't say giveaway, don't say free. Just tell me about why you want Death by Cross Stitch, and we will go from there. And then, you know what? If you take Death by Cross Stitch, I'll throw in the zippies with that one, and they can go together, the little pumpkins, because you can, as I said, this one's got the floss, or some of the floss left. So, I mean, you could easily get that fixed for Halloween this year. I have it like in a 5x5 frame. He's so cute. I don't do a lot of Halloween. I think I've got 3 things for Halloween. One's a pillow, and I have a flat fold stand up, and I have a little frame piece that the glass had broken and had damaged whatever was in it. I don't remember what it was now, but I had kept the frame just because I figured, hey, who knows? And it worked perfectly. So anyway, let me know. As I said, don't say giveaway, don't say free. Be a subscriber and like the video, and we will go from there. But other than that, I think that's all. Stay safe. If you're in South Texas, my heart goes out for you. I know there's a lot of rain. I know there's a lot of flooding. Please stay safe. They're asking you, if you have to evacuate, be careful because of the COVID, and try not to evacuate in large groups. I know a lot of families want to travel together, but if you've got 20 people in 2 cars, and I have seen that. If you've got lots and lots of people in 2 cars, chances are you're not going to be safe. So please be careful. If you're in Hawaii, hang in there. Douglas is coming. Be careful there too. Y'all, I don't know where y'all go. Where do people in Hawaii go when it's got a hurricane? It's like the Caribbean, you know. Where do you go? I mean, you're in the middle. You're surrounded by water. My husband and I always talked about we want to live on the coast. And he said, yeah, but what if there's a storm? I said, if there is a storm, I'm going to my mother's house. So I would not be staying for storms. Just, no, take the cat and go. But I hope it's a good day for you. I hope you have a great day stitching. I may put a couple of pictures of the finished pieces that I just showed you into the end here. We'll see. But y'all have a good day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.